second video of the day, as promised, Saints fans. We got news and notes from day 3 of New Orleans Saints minicamp, and none are more important than the news going on around Alvin Kamara. We're going to break all of that and then some more down in today's video. But before we get into that, I have to encourage you to give me a follow on social media. On X, formerly known as Twitter, I'm at Trace Girouard 48. And on Instagram, I have a new Saints Instagram account, that I've been posting a lot of stuff on. I'm just past 217 followers there. So if you want to give me a follow, I post everything on social media before I get to the videos on YouTube. So give me a follow on Instagram. Look how poppin' that channel is. And on top of that, hit me up on Twitter if you want more coverage before I get to these YouTube videos so you're a smarter Saints fan. Now, earlier we discussed some injury news around Juwan Johnson. We talked about the possibility of Jimmy Graham returning. And then on top of that, Taysom Hill's contract got restructured, so the Saints had some more cap space. So if you want to get any news or updates around any of those storylines, that's not going to be in today's video. It's going to be, or in this video right here. It's going to be in the video from earlier today, which will be linked in the comment section and description of the video. This is the thumbnail, so go check it out to find out everything going on around the black and gold today. So here are the big news pieces around the New Orleans Saints. The biggest report coming out of minicamp this entire week isn't Marshawn Lattimore returning. It isn't Alvin Kamara returning. It's actually Alvin Kamara leaving minicamp a little bit early after the walkthrough portion of practice today, and it has been confirmed that is for a contract-related reason. Now, Jason over the cap, those nerds over there are really good with the numbers, and I'm going to have him explain some, context here. Kamara is essentially in the final year of his contract, and in 2025, he had a balloon salary that would never be paid out. So it makes sense if he is looking for an extension. Now, I will add this around Alvin Kamara. This is the last year that he's technically under salary because this is the last year of guaranteed money. And this is kind of a tough decision as to whether or not to extend Alvin Kamara or restructure his contract or whatever you want to call it. So the numbers, yeah, they're kind of down. But I don't think that Alvin Kamara as a player is down. I think that this is more of a product of a bad environment rather than a product of a bad player, if that makes any sense. I don't think Pete Carmichael was doing him any favors the past few seasons. The offensive line has been atrocious. He's had like 56 different starting quarterbacks over the last 3 seasons, so it's obviously kind of tough to develop and get on a good groove if you're Alvin Kamara, all still dealing with the suspension and some injury stuff. So it's just kind of a weird thing up and down last 4 years for Alvin Kamara. But I still think that he is that player that he once was. I think he's still a fluent runner of the football. He moves very smoothly, and I think that he is still a really good football player. But I want to ask you this question. Would you extend Alvin Kamara? Just give me an E for extend or give me a D for decline down in the comment section. Put on your GM hat and be the general manager. One thing to consider. If Alvin Kamara is extended, he'll be on the wrong side of 30 by the time this contract kicks in. So that is something to think about. Running backs at 30-plus years old, it's kind of tough to justify it. But it is Alvin Kamara, so let me know what you think. So I will add this. Do not panic. Do not freak out. None of this has anything to do with a trade. None of this has anything to do with the Saints moving on from Alvin Kamara. He will wear the black and gold this season. There will be a fleur-de-lis on the side of his helmet in 2024. He wants to be a New Orleans Saint for life, and there is no question about it. This is not the only time we've seen some sort of little holdout. We've seen this before from Kamara before he signed his extension back in 2020. But in 2023, after Cam Jordan got his lifetime Saints contract extension, this is what Kamara had to say. I want a lifetime contract. I want to be here forever. I think y'all, being the media, need to put some pressure on Mickey Loomis how y'all did for Cam when he said to. Now, I do believe that bringing back Alvin Kamara is very, very important to the success of the offense for New Orleans. This entire offense is going to be grounded. I believe that through Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara, those are the guys that are going to run this offense. Of course, Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed will get involved, and obviously Derek Carr is the QB1. But Alvin Kamara and his skill set and what he's capable of doing is a big, massive, huge factor to the success for the offense in 2024. And if he's not around, this entire offensive strategy and this entire scheme could be at risk of not working. But Klint Kubiak did talk to media today after practice, and he said that he's talked to Kamara. When he was there the past couple of days, he's been great. I've talked to him on the phone even when he was gone. We've been in constant communication. That's the key thing. We have been in constant communication. I really love the way he put in work yesterday and at the walkthrough today. Now, I want to encourage you to subscribe for more Saints news, updates, injuries, all sorts of content. We're also going live multiple times a week. We've been putting out multiple videos a day over the past couple of weeks, so be sure to subscribe. Lock us in. I challenge you to find a better Saints YouTube channel that's more entertaining, more informative, and more energetic than what I'm doing. So we do have some injury news to discuss as well in the trenches. Nick Saldiveri, the second-year offensive guard, he left practice early today because he was dealing with a hamstring or groin issue. Point being, Dennis Allen is not concerned. He isn't too worried about it. This isn't something that I would go and sign another offensive lineman about. But I will say this, I think that it's important to note Shane Lemieux and Lucas Patrick each spent time with the starters, so they're preparing for the possibility of maybe not having Nick Saldiveri because sometimes things happen. You got to take a break, got to tie your shoe, helmet pops off, maybe you're injured. It's important for the Saints offensive line to have multiple different looks so that way they can be successful at any point in time in any game. Now I want to see more from Dallin Holker, and that's exactly what I got. He continues to shine at New Orleans Saints off-season activities, minicamp, everything. He has just been so good. He is a really interesting player, and he has such a nice skill set. And I will say this, with the addition of the Juwan Johnson injury, his role gets very, very intriguing. And I will add this, maybe Sal Cannella, the player that the Saints have brought in through the UFL, who is a tryout right now at minicamp. Maybe he has a chance to make the roster. Who knows? And hey, maybe Jimmy Graham can make a return. That's what I want to see. But hey, let's talk about the quarterbacks because it is the most important position in all of sports. Derek Carr, you can see that he's developing a clear chemistry with Chris Olave. There's a ton of clips out there of him doing all sorts of really nice throws and deep stuff and getting involved with Chris Olave and also hitting Rashid Shaheed on some deep shots. Like, I like seeing Derek Carr continue to develop that chemistry with the wide receivers because last year it was very obvious at times they were not on the same page. Now, Jake Haener, he is still leading the quarterback 2 battle, but it is worth noting they rotated once again, him and Spencer Rattler. We've been seeing that all offseason, and media specifically saw that for the first time yesterday. However, it came out that throughout the entire OTAs and all of minicamp and everything, they've actually kind of been going back and forth anyway. Now, Spencer Rattler, there was actually a pretty cool clip that Boot Crew Media posted. Go check him out on Twitter. It was a really, really nice throw. I mean, Spencer Rattler, deep shot. And whoever was recording the video, I'm not kidding, literally, as the ball got to the receivers, go, holy shit. I said the exact same thing. Like, the deep ball is there. And he did rotate again. So the quarterback play, it's getting better. I like to see that from Haener and Rattler, and this competition at training camp is going to be awesome. Now let's focus in on the safeties because I want to give some big-time credit to Millard Bradford. Now, he's a guy who I do believe actually has a good chance to make the roster. And shout out to Drew Kennedy here at Chat Sports. She's a TCU alum. Informed me that they actually called him Nuke at TCU out in Fort Worth. So I would love to see Nuke make this roster. I think that he could actually be a good player to be in the rotation of being in the slot and on that nickel corner spot. And on top of that, he seems to find himself in the right place at the right time. He was a turnover machine at TCU, and he's had multiple turnovers throughout this spring, summer training sessions. So that's really, really good stuff for him. I like what the Saints depth chart looks like right now in the safety room, and I would like it even more if they sign Justin Simmons. But hey, Millard Bradford is looking really damn good. And I want to add one thing before I get to this point, because the Saints did restructure Taysom Hill's contract. They have about $12 million in cap space. So that's some good news. I will say this. One of two things will happen. Either A, they restructure Taysom Hill's contract because they're ready to just give that right over to Alvin Kamara. I think that's a good move. Or B, maybe they want to go and bring in a guy like Justin Simmons. And I think that would be an excellent move as well. But I want to just talk about the training camp battles because it's going to be tough to see who is the QB2. Who is going to be the starting safety along Tyrann Mathieu? Who's going to take over and be the guy on the defense? Who's going to be the defensive back all-star? Can Paulson Adebo continue to shine? Can Kool-Aid McKinstry beat out Alontae Taylor in the slot? What's going to happen on all of these training camp battles? It's going to be tough to find out, but we will know as soon as the pads get on. So, hey, let's get ready for some contact. Let's get ready for some physicality. Let's get ready for some real football. Now, one more reminder, Saints fans, give me a follow on social media for more coverage around your New Orleans Saints. If you guys want, videos, posts, memes, funny stuff, hot takes, all sorts of cool content, hit me up on Twitter/X as well as Instagram. The links are in the comment section and description. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.